Hello, it's Liz here with Stampin' on the Rock. Today I'm going to be sharing with you an idea called Stack, Cut, and Shuffle. I don't know if that's really what it's called, but that's what I'm going to call it. So a little idea for a different kind of a background. So hang with me and we'll get started. I'm going to be using this DSP, this designer series paper that's called Perennial Lavender. If you haven't seen it yet, there's lots of beautiful colors in here. Mine's been cut up a little bit, but let me show you some fronts and backs so you can see. Beautiful flowers. Let's see what else is in here. Look at those beautiful flowers. Okay, lots of color combinations in here. On the back of the designer series paper always tells you what colors are in this pack. So you have Berry Burst, Blackberry Bliss, Fresh Freesia, Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, Lost Lagoon, Orchid Oasis, Pretty Peacock, Shaded Spruce, Starry Sky. Lots of options for cardstock and ink. An idea I just saw from another demonstrator named Patty Bennett. Thanks, Patty. As we get older, sometimes this little tiny writing here is hard to read. So when you get a pack of this, grab your reading glasses if you need to. But look at these names right here. Grab a Sharpie and write them bigger. Write Berry Burst in black Sharpie on here, and write Blackberry Bliss in a black Sharpie. And then that way when you want to go use the paper, it's very easy to tell what colors to grab. So one of the beauties of Stampin' Up! Products is everything's coordinated. So those colors are on the back, and you can grab cardstock, you can grab ribbon and ink, all coordinated with those same colors, which is great, takes the guesswork out of matching things. So that's the card pack I'm going to be using. I'll be using this stamp set called Go-To Greetings, and it's so appropriately named because it is such a go-to greetings. I keep this nearby. Obviously, we have lots of words in other stamp sets, but this is so good. I've shown this in other videos too. The happy birthday, thinking of you, just a note, hello, thank you, and in all different sizes and fonts. So it's a great one to have on hand and nearby for some quick cards. So I'm going to be using thinking of you from this stamp set. All right, so I'll be using Pretty Peacock ink pad. I'll be using a little Fresh Freesia ribbon. And I did not cut my card bases, so hang on one second. Okay, I'll be using Fresh Freesia for my card bases, so sorry about that. I actually did this video once prior, and then all of a sudden the video cut off, and I realized that I had run out of space on my phone, so I had to delete a few things. And anyway, here we are, take 2. So I just want 3 of these, so I'll just do this while I'm here and show you what I do. So I cut those in half, and then here is my score blade. So I'm going to score at 4 1/4. There's one base. We'll do 4 1/4. There's a second base, and we're going to score at 4 1/4, and there's my third base. Okay, so those are the bases for the card, and that's in Fresh Freesia. All right, so I grabbed 3 pieces of paper from that lavender, what's it called, Perennial Lavender paper pack. All right, so I grabbed these 3 pieces, 3 different pieces. It sometimes will help if you pick non-directional papers. That just means like your paper can go any direction and it doesn't really matter. So that will help. You can use other papers that have specific directions on them, but it does help sometimes just to have non-directional cardstock or DSP. So this paper was all taken from that paper pack I just showed you. I cut all of them to 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so 4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm going to cut these at the same time. All right, so this, remember I told you this is called Stack, Cut, and Shuffle. So I took 3 of these pieces, cut them all to 4 by 5 1/4, stacking them together. That's the first part, stacking. We're going to cut. It doesn't matter where, you're not measuring. I'm going to turn this, and it doesn't really matter. I want to cut it into 3 pieces. So I'm going to cut this one, cut, and I want to keep that together. And I'm going to take this one, keep it together. And I'm going to cut this to, it doesn't really matter there. Okay, there we go. We're keeping those together. Okay, so we did the cutting part. Let me move this aside. So we did a cut. Now we're going to do, we did stack, we did cut. Now we're going to shuffle. So there are all your pieces, all right? Now we're going to do the shuffle part. Let me move this up here. I'm going to take this one, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's take these pieces on this side, and we can do this 1, and we can put this here, 2. That's not going to work, so let's switch this here. Okay, we need them to all be different. All right, this one we can put in here. This one we can put here, and this one we can put here. Okay, so we put all those pieces back so that your full size when it's all together is still 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to be the background of our cards. All right, I'm going to slide this up. Let me slide this out of the way here. And we'll do this one first. Let me grab my base. So I'm making 3 cards pretty quickly, all with the same design. Same papers. Press that down. All right, let's put this down. I'm going to grab some liquid glue here. And that one's going to go right there. The liquid glue just helps me to get to the corners. See if I can shake that down a little bit. There we go. And I'll take that and we'll put that right here. And you want to do about 1/8 of an inch on all your borders, which is the same as you would do for if you're putting like a solid piece of Designer Series paper down. Like one, I don't mean solid, but one full piece. Okay, here's our next one. Gonna lay this down like we're doing a puzzle. And let's do the last one here. Maybe this liquid glue is running out. All right, no big deal. I got another one right here. We'll just get rid of that one. That one's coming to an end. Let's grab another one here. All right. You never want to run out of adhesive in the middle of your project because that's no fun. So make sure you have some extras and some refills on hand at all times. If you live nearby me, I most of the time have refills here that you can just shoot me a message and pick up. Or if I'm in your area, I will gladly drop off to you. Otherwise, they can be ordered by messaging me or through my website at any point. Okay. So there's one. There's our background. Let's grab the next one. Excuse my arm there. And we're going to do the same thing. They're each going to come out just a little bit differently as far as the design goes. Well, not so much the design, but where the papers are laid out. All right. I'll put this one down here. The nice thing about the liquid glue is that it will move around a little bit before you decide where you want it to be, like in place. So you can, it slides a little bit before it actually hardens and adheres. All right. Put that one down. And there we go. And our last one. So have you done this before? If you have, let me know. And if you haven't and this is new to you, I'd love to know that too. It really helps me a lot. If you comment below, shoot me a message, let me know what was helpful to, what was not, maybe if something's new to you or what you would like to see. If there's a product you're not sure how to use it and I can feature it in a video, an upcoming video, let me know that. That's really helpful. I have had a couple people tell me they appreciate when I give measurements because that helps them create. And you know what? When you tell me that, that helps me to know what is helpful to you. So let's work together on that one. Thanks so much for the feedback when I get that. I appreciate it. If you know someone who would benefit from any of these videos, feel free to hit that share button and send that along. You can send it through a text or through an email. It can be shared on, you know, Facebook, Instagram, any of those things too. All right, let's put this on here. Okay, so this is the shuffle part. So remember, it was called stack, cut, and shuffle. All right, we're gonna get our last one in here. So I feel like you're gonna go through your papers, your designer series papers, and maybe look at them a little bit differently. Look for ones that you could do this technique and idea for. Again, if it has a specific direction, you can make it work. It just is a little simpler without a direction because you can flip-flop your papers and make them work. All right. So sometimes you might have a little space in there. There's ways you can cover that. We'll get to it later. If you go ahead and put them down, I said about 1/8 of an inch around. This one looks pretty close. It's pretty even all the way around. This one is a little too far on the left side. There's a little extra space over here. You could leave it if you want. Or the nice thing about this trimmer is it will trim a tiny little bit off very easily. So I'm just going to put a little tiny bit in there. And we're ready. There we go. I'm going to shave off just that littlest bit right there that no one is ever going to be able to tell in your card that it's a little bit shorter than the full 5.5 inches. But then you pull it out like this and you have it even on all sides now. Okay, so feel free to do that and don't feel like, oh my gosh, hers are always straight and mine aren't. Trust me, I get mine off too, and there's ways you can correct it. So there you go. Those are your 3 backgrounds. You have like a patchwork quilt kind of look to it. I used these nested essential dies are great. Look at the 3 different shapes there are, and then there's all different sizes so that you can layer them. And I'm using these 2 out of right here. Again, that's called nested essentials dies. So I used the large one here and cut out the pieces out of the pretty peacock. And then I'm going to stamp the Thinking of You on fresh freesia. In general, I think it's better to stamp your words. Especially if you don't have the clear photopolymer ones, if it's like rubber like this and you're not seeing through it, stamp first, then put your die on, because if you put your die here and you cut it out and then you stamp and you go, ah, shoot, now it's crooked. If you stamp your words first, it doesn't matter if it's crooked because then you can adjust your die as you're cutting it out. So if you're able to, stamp first, then cut out your piece. And don't feel like you always have to stamp your words on white paper, because you don't. Okay, I just wanted to show you here. I'm just doing this on fresh freesia. I think I gave myself enough room there, but we'll find out. All right, so I'm going to take this. I'm putting it through the mini cut and emboss machine. So hang on one second. I'm going to lay that right on top there. Bear with me for a minute while I cut that out. Okay. There's one of them. Okay, let me do these other 2 pretty quickly. I just want to show you how they're all just using the same papers and the same dies, but they're going to look just a little bit differently because of the way we rearrange the papers on the back. Oop, I think I just did that one very crooked. All right, hang on a second. Da-da-da. All right. Here's our second one. There we go. There's the second one. Let's do our third one. So if you're noticing, I mean, we're doing 3 cards in, I don't know how long this video is going to be, maybe 15, 17 minutes or so. So I'm trying to do as much of it right in front of you as possible so that you can see the realistic time of how long something takes, rather than me having like everything prepared ahead of time and telling you it only takes, you know, 5 minutes. Well, it doesn't really. So I want you to see how long it really takes. and that sometimes I make mistakes when doing it also, and you just figure out ways to correct it, and that's okay. And sometimes the machine doesn't work exactly the way you want it to either. All right, there we go. I think we got our last one. All right, so here we go. These are our pieces. Let's take those and we're going to attach onto the pretty peacock background. Here we go. What a nice combination, right? It's fresh freesia and pretty peacock. All right, we'll take the next one. And let's put that on here. So thank you so much for being here and watching with me. I really do appreciate it. I enjoy doing these videos, and I just really want them to be helpful to you, and I want you to just have some new ways to create and be inspired to create, and then send those cards out. I hear from multiple people how they make the cards, they love making them, but then they just kind of sit in a box at home, and half of it is just that it's relaxing for you, and I get that. The other half is that you want to brighten someone else's day. So send those cards out. All right, I'm going to add the fresh freesia ribbon here, and I'm just cutting, I don't know, maybe 3 inches or so. There we go. And on the back here, I'm going to just put a little bit of adhesive. All right, I'm folding this in half, just taking this ribbon, folding it in half, and then put that right down there. Let's do the next one. I'm going to fold this in half. And I want to get that into the adhesive, so make sure it's getting stuck in the adhesive. Let's do the third one. And we'll put that there. Okay. Oh, that's a really big one. I don't really like that one. All right, let me pull that one off. That's sticking out the other end. Looked really big. All right. So there we go. Okay. So then I'm going to take some dimensionals because I love my dimensionals. Something that pops up here. Let's put that on. Let's get this on all 3 of them at the same time. Again, sometimes doing assembly line stamping, you can get a little more, be a little more productive as you're stamping, if that's your goal. Sometimes the goal is not being productive, it's just to completely relax, and I get that. And then other times you want to be super productive. So there we go. All right, so let's take these backings off of here. Oops, I think I dropped those. All right, there's the first one. All right, remember I set up here how there's a like little seam right here? Okay, let's just, not a big deal. Let's do this. Let's do this for now. And we're gonna put that right over the center where the seam kind of came together, and that was the biggest area that was there. I'm gonna leave it like that, so hang on a second though. Let's take this off of here. Get this backing off. Little bugger. All right, I'm gonna put that right over the center spot. There's a little bit of a seam right there, a little bit of an opening. I'm gonna put that right over top. There we go. Then we're gonna take the third one, pull that off of here. I'm going to put that right over where those 3 pieces come together. Okay, so there are 3 cards, but hang on, remember I told you there's like a little gap right there? You could leave it, but I'm sure I have something here. Let's see. I'm going to just pull through my little embellishments here and see what I have, because I'm positive I've got something that we could make this work. How about some little pearls? We got little pearls. Do I have other, let's see. Oh, here we got little purple ones. Okay. I've got these little purple ones that I think this was from a paper pumpkin kit. So I just have a little bin here of all sorts of little extra embellishments. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to just add a little extra sparkle to my card. We're going to add a little glitz to our card. Some of you know, I've said before, I love when it has a little sparkle, a little like glittery look without a glittery mess. So I've got these little pieces here. Like I said, I think this is from a paper pumpkin kit, so it's not something you can buy, but we have plenty of embellishments in the catalog or online. So I'm pulling these off. And there we go. I just added a little extra to that one, okay? So there we go. There are our cards. Hope you enjoyed that, and that gives you an idea. So any questions, shoot me a message. Enjoy. Have a good week. Bye-bye.